It's a new dawn, a new beginning, a moment of reset in Ghana. And yesterday, inauguration brought many people together, and it's time for us to analyze exactly what the president seeks to achieve moving forward. And this is also very historic because we had got a new vice president who is a female, and it's the first time we're having a female vice president. Very, very historic. And also the fact that we had a former president returning back into the office of presidency at the age of 66 and being the sixth in terms of the number and number 9 in terms of the entire duration of our political journey, having presidents in this country. And as historic as it may be, there's a lot to be actually done in terms of how the new government intends to reset the economy, the country itself, and it's the reason that we are all seated this morning. You can also join us and share your thought with us and let us know what you think about the inauguration yesterday and moving forward, what you expect of the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Don't forget, he's got a 120 contract, social contract with the people of Ghana, and we'll be looking forward to that conversation as well. But in it all, as one moment that a lot of people would cherish forever, and the fact that a lot of people believe that his speech during the inauguration was very nationalistic. How nationalistic is that speech? We'll take a look at that also over here. We're going to be analyzing the political dimensions of His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama's inaugural ceremony in terms of leadership, legitimacy, and national unity. We say a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for making it possible for us to have this conversation here on Prime Morning. Don't forget that it's your best bet into making sure that you've got quality in your homes. So we're talking about gadgets. If you need a phone, they've got Samsung, they've got Nokia, they've got iPhones that you can buy from us. A 40% discount is what we're giving you on all accessories that you buy from us. Do not forget that you can also monitor your homes, your offices, anywhere you are at any time by simply purchasing one of our CCTV cameras, and you're good to go. And all you have to do is to just reach out to us and purchase that refrigerators. And we've got also air conditionings that you can also buy from us. Please do not pick any number on social media to do business with us. The numbers we're giving you on the screens as the numbers you have to call us on. And Google Play Store is where you can find our app. It's the Franco Trading app. Once you type that, you're going to have it, and you can also do all the enquiries that you want to do, the branches, the numbers you want to call, some of the gadgets that we have. You want to check them out as well. You have to just go there and then grab it. Our website is www.francotrading.com, and you can get all the info you need from there as well. And so, yes, Franco Trading Enterprise, still phones, Papa Pafia. We're grateful this morning to them. Do not forget that you can send your messages on our WhatsApp line. It's very active. You can also go on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on X. We are also streaming live on these places, and so you can just send your messages in real time, and we'll be reading from the WhatsApp console. And so do well and send those messages to us. Now, before we get into the major conversations, as always, we're going to get into the front page of the newspapers and check out what has been reported. They've been reporting on the front pages, and then we'll get into major conversations. My guest, Dr. Paragraph, is already seated in the studio. Let me just welcome him, and then we'll check out the front pages of the newspapers. We're waiting Richard to also join us as well. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, KMJ. Good morning, good morning.
How's it going?
Well, God is good to us. It's a new year, and a happy new year to you.
Great.
And to Joy Prime, and to multimedia, and to the Ghanaian people. The President, John Dramani Mahama, is President of the Republic of Ghana from yesterday. We congratulate him. We congratulate the first female vice president, Her Excellency Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. It was such a very beautiful moment. For me, very historic, extremely, to see the rank and file of continental leaders on this continent. For people that have always followed the story of Rwanda, Paul Kagame is a very great icon for young politicians and for rising politicians. And to see that he came for the inauguration for me was extremely great. Kagame is a great guy, and the rank and file of the leadership was good. Solidarity from the ECOWAS sub-region was key to see that the Federal Republic of Nigeria's president, Bola Tinubu, was here as special guest.
Yeah.
I think the inauguration was very well planned. Security was top-notch. You know, Ibrahim Tori, the Captain Ibrahim Tori, president of Burkina Faso. I just had a little bit of a concern I would want to raise. You know, the president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces.
Yeah.
And if you have other presidents who come, especially for those that have taken over the realms of democracy in their country and are military leaders now, carrying firearms, I would have wished that, especially at the time when he was going to greet the president, John Dramani Mahama, he would have given his firearms to his aide to climb the days. But I mean, it's okay. But I mean, in future occurrences, we should try as much as possible to guard that. But his presence was good.
I think it's one of the conversations that have been on social media ever since that incident happened. Some people believe that we could have done better with that.
Yes, that's why I'm just raising it. But I mean, yes, I can. I mean, he's a military leader.
That was also another argument. That, okay.
Yes, I mean,
where
it was
coming from.
No, yes. Well, for me, I mean, I don't want to belittle the issues, but it was a very good ceremony. The only thing, like I stated, was that, I mean, carrying a firearm is not a problem. Because he's a military captain, but just carrying it on the days where our president is what I felt could have been handled a little bit much better. I mean, he could have just given it to his aide just for about a minute or two and then exchange his pleasantries. But I mean, in future occurrences, we should try as much as possible that it doesn't happen. Because there were all the people that were there are presidents, and any of them could have carried their arms there, but they did not. Many of them do not even walk up with their security details.
Yeah.
They only walked up with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs guys who escorted them. But I mean, it's okay. But I mean, in future occurrences, we should try as much as possible that it doesn't happen again.
And I think one other significant thing that he did was also when he was going to greet the vice president, when he removed the cap that he was wearing.
Absolutely.
A lot of people also felt that, okay.
Absolutely.
That was total respect to women.
Absolutely.
We've seen women actually having issues with men already that you guys don't respect us.
Absolutely. But I mean, let me also commend the outfit of President John Dramani Mahama. It was extremely bespoke. And my friend Bondana has done an extremely great job, very great job. He looked very young, very smart, and very ready for the occasion. And so it was very good. I was very happy, and I'm still happy, and I'm very pleased. And I wish the President, John Dramani Mahama, the best. And I'd also really commend President Akufo-Addo for his discipline, for his love, for his obedience, for transitioning effectively, for attending the handing over and the inauguration, and also commend the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party in the 2024 general election and the outgoing Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. These are the moments that we need One Ghana. These are the moments where we need the leaders to continually show solidarity. And I mean, for me, the godfather of Ghana now is former President John Jinapor. Very, very, very humble gentleman, extremely patriotic, shown all his love for Ghana. And the humility that President John Dramani Mahama, together with the Vice President, came down to greet. I mean, because you know that there was not an avenue for him to climb up because of the steps that was there. But I mean, it was a very beautiful occasion and very well coordinated.
Very well coordinated. You can also let us know what you think about the ceremony yesterday. And I understand, you know, all the conversations going on social media and all that. Everybody wants to just pick up pieces of what they felt that was really, really significance and beautiful. And so you can share all of those with us here on our WhatsApp. It's active, and let us know what you think about that. Now, let me go to the front page of the Chronicle newspaper, and it says that Mahama tells Akufo-Addo, "You have been a worthy opponent." And on the front page, the big story over there says that the John the Fourth in the driving seat. World leaders congratulate him, and Toby Babin maintains number 3 position. That's also captured by the Chronicle, the front page of the Chronicle. At the back page, you find some of the pictures from the inauguration ceremony yesterday, and it's got some world leaders captured over there, and some also doing the handshake with the president, John Dramani Mahama. So you can grab a copy and read all about it. The John the Fourth in the driving seat, I'm sure, will be something that you want to learn more from. Why is it so? And also some other stories that you can get from the Chronicle newspaper when you grab a copy. Now, let me go to the Ghanaian Times also here, and it says that swearing in ceremony with exceptional grandeur. And over here, it says support President Mahama to reset Ghana, Tinubu to Ghanaians. And the dawn of a new era, there is a hope on the horizon, JM assures. Ninth Parliament takes off 275 MPs sworn in. Ablekumanov result pending, and it's got the Speaker of Parliament been captured over there as well, and some other things that you can find when you grab a copy of the Ghanaian Times this morning, and it's got also pictures from the ceremony yesterday, so the ones that you missed, you can find them there when you grab a copy. Somewhere in the middle page, it says Lordina Mahama, the pillar behind JM's comeback, expected to continue to touch lives. So that's also something that you can read about it. A feature that has been put together, you can read about that in the Ghanaian Times. The Observer is here, and it says that Mahama sworn in as president promises to create decent and well-paying jobs for Ghanaian youth. And away from that, NDC minority fulfilled expectations in 8th Parliament, says Akufo-Addo. Julius Debray's appointment draws praise from analysts, highlights his deep roots in NDC politics. And Ibrahim Mahama, UMB apologizes to Ibrahim Mahama over debt claims. And away from that, Ghana is open for business again. President Mahama says so. And my prosecution was a frivolous attempt to intimidate me, Akufo-Addo says so. And that's the Observer. The back page has got a picture of the president with congratulations messages going out for him. Now, away from that, let's get to the new finder, and it says employment skills development critical pillars. That's of my administration's economic policies, President Mahama declares, and ensure your money works for you, Professor Adey. Away from that, Nkrumah Memorial Park, unique treasure for Africans and the world. That's Dear Ghana. And that's the front page of the new finder. You can read about those stories as well. And the inside page somewhere has established $2 billion market infrastructure development fund and advises government. And those are some of the advices that are coming in already. So you can also read about that as well. And that's the new finder this morning, also reporting on those stories. Like I said, you can also send your messages to us and let us know what you think about the conversation we're having this morning. And it's all about the inauguration yesterday, the president's speech. Where do you find your problems, addressed in that speech? You might just want to let us know, that also, and see how we can analyze that as well. But he spoke about a lot of things, what he intends to do, how he intends to put the country together, unity in terms of unity, and moving forward, how we're able to reset and stabilize the economy and all of that. So we're going to pay our attentions to it this morning and see where we can touch. But first of all, Doc is here. Like I said, we're waiting for Richard Manuribe to also join us from the NDC. Doc is representing the NPP and spokesperson on governance and security for the outgoing government. And so he's going to be spending time with us over here this morning. Doc, First of all, what's your general remarks of the president's speech?
So the president, John Dramani Mahama, had a very, very humane and very reflective speech. For me, the introduction of the commandery and the level of trust that he and President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo have shared over the years was good for him to remark, and seizing the moment really to thank him for the level of friendship that both of them have enjoyed over the years. It's good to have that stated in history. It's good for both political parties to see that leaders at the top are friends and have had a long journey over the years. And critically as well for me was the fact that President John Dramani Mahama did not miss the chance and the opportunity to highlight his 4 key things, particularly bearing on where our government and the erstwhile Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and Bawumia-led government, what we have done for the Ghanaian people over the past 8 years, what we have left for President John Dramani Mahama to continue. And the period that he has is very, very limited. His clock has already started ticking. He has a 4-year tenure and the last mandate for him. And for me, this should be his legacy presidency. He should focus on a few things that would be able to cement his name in history. He states that he wants to look at economic restoration and stabilization, realizing that we have brought the country from one stage onto another stage. We have been able to revive the Ghanaian economy, especially going through the various challenges that we had to go through, plunged with COVID-19, plunged with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the global trade, plunged with inflation and reducing that to about 23 at a time when we were leaving office. In terms of interbank exchange forex rates, we had been able to reduce that to about 14 Ghana cedis at the time we were leaving office. So he wants to be able to continue that stride, and he states that very clearly, that he wants the economy to work, and that is what we had been doing up until now, and we would want to see that is very reflective in terms of a continual reduction of the dollar, a continual reduction of the macroeconomics, and also bearing in mind that we would also want to see that some of the very good policies that the erstwhile government, Akufo-Addo, Bawumia-led government began, that stabilized the Ghanaian currency. He would take light of that. One of that is the gold for oil that we had brought in, the reserves that we had begun keeping at the Bank of Ghana. We would want to see a lot more of that. And he mentioned very clearly his improvement of business and in the environment of investment in terms of private sector. And I mean, any country that does not pay particular attention to the private sector, you are not willing to really lead the country, and that is what we had done in our government. And it's important to see that the government of the day, John Dramani Mahama led government, would want to see a lot more improvement in businesses, which would create a lot more jobs, as we had also created that enabling environment. I was glad to see that he wants to continue with a lot more of the governance and the constitutional reforms. And for me, I mean, this is his ultimate legacy that he will be able to leave for the Ghanaian people. He's been in parliament the longest. He's been in governance the longest. He's gone and come back. He's had many months of reflections and years of reflections. He's studied it across the various length and breadth of different countries. And so if he wants to look into the constitutional reforms, I think that is very, very key for the country. We've practiced the 1992 Constitution well over 32, going on to 33 years now. there are some aspects of the 1992 Constitution that bewills ultimate power to the executive that he might want to look at that. He's spoken extensively about ex gratia. You recall that in his opposition days. I'm sure that he wants to be able to see a lot more reforms in there. And then also strengthen state institutions, because over the years we've seen that state institutions have been overly politicized and overly colorized. And so if we want to have strong institutions and ensure that our governance structures are working very well, he wants to look into that. And so that is very key for us. And the last as well is that he wants to ensure that his government is accountable and fighting corruption. And I think that for all the presidents that have come of this Fourth Republic, everyone has had their fair share of ensuring that they keep their appointees to strict accountability and ensuring that people do not overly become corrupt. And you recall that in our government, which is the President Akufo-Addo, former president as well, government, we picked up accountability as one of the key hallmarks of our government. We set up the Office of the Special Prosecutor, which was and is to ensure that people that are involved in corruption and alleged corrupted activities are investigated largely, and those that are found culpable are brought to books. And so it's important to see that the government of the day is wanting to take accountability and wanting to tackle corruption very clearly. You recall that during the transitional period, John Dramani Mahama set up the Oral Committee, which was to gather information. I've seen documents flanking around, and I'm very sure that if they find full proof of some of the things that they lay claim in terms of allegations and go through the legal procedures and persons are found culpable, I'm very certain that it will bring a lot more restoration into the political class and the political elite. One of the things that you don't want to see a lot more is that the Ghanaian people don't need to lose trust in the political class and in the political elite. The fallout of the 2024 general election is a clear indication that the Ghanaian people want to continually see that the political class are holding up themselves to the full proof of accountability and not misusing taxpayers' monies and not accounting for taxpayers' monies. And so much as John Dramani Mahama wants to fight corruption and also ensure that people live up to expectations, it's a strong, stern admonition to his appointees that are coming. And I've seen that already full swing into the 24-hour economy. He set up the Honorable Gositano to be the lead of that. He's already set up his office, a few of that, Chief of Staff, Julius Debra set up his legal aide, Margaret Obru, spokesperson, acting spokesperson, Felix. And the entire team, Prosper Bani, interim head for the security. Entire team, for me, I'm very clear that the mandate that the Ghanaian people have given to John Dramani Mahama is overwhelming, extremely overwhelming. And the Ghanaian people would not expect any excuses at all whatsoever, because you have an overwhelming majority in Parliament. You have the full support of the judiciary, and you could see how the Chief Justice, her ladyship, Gertrude Tokonu, beamed with so much joy because, I mean, you clearly is seeing that democracy, you're living out the tenets of democracy, especially with the transition of office from one government onto another government. And the beaming of joy when she congratulated the first female vice president and said, Madam Vice President, congratulations. So it was extremely
and they have
the
high school, history.
So they went to good, great.
Yeah.
So I mean these are very, very good moments. I mean, but a speech for me, he called all Ghanaians to be Ghanaians, and I think that
which is very important.
Following from what the erstwhile government, Akufo-Addo Bawumia, had called Ghanaians not to be spectators but to be citizens. It's a continuation, really, that President John Dramani Mahama is calling Ghanaians to be Ghanaians and calling that the young people, the youth, are going to be given critical opportunities. And I think that that's really key, because you see we've set something in motion, especially with the erstwhile government's free senior high school policy that we had brought in. Huge huge numbers of young people that are transitioning from senior high to tertiary. And so we want to see that his 1 year free entrance for all universities would be implemented. I think that it would be a very good next step for people that are finishing senior high school. But I mean, KMJ, it's important to also state that realizing that government of Akufo-Addo led government brought in free senior high school, it will be good for this government to consider really extending a bit more of the tertiary facilities, because if people could not afford free senior high school, and so because of that our government had to bring free senior high school, it meant that those people would also have challenges if they go into the tertiary university. And so if you give 1 year free university, what will happen when they continue in their second year and third year and fourth year? It will be good for the scholarship system to be extended a lot more for the brilliant and the needy, so that it's not just for those who can afford and are given scholarships and the likes. And so these are very early days in the government of John Dramani Mahama. But like we have said, would be a very constructive, respectful opposition government, and where we need to provide support, we would provide those supports. I have heard that, and the promises that he made with scrapping e-levy, scrapping bets and tax,
which a lot of people are looking
removal of COVID-19 levy and all of that. I mean, if people trusted your words and voted for you into office, you would want to keep those words. And so e-levy has raked in a lot of revenue for our country. You recall how in the 8th Parliament it was stalled and it was fought against by the minority. But we saw that it was critically important for us to implement such an electronic levy, because the e-commerce base had grown significantly. I mean, digital economy had grown extensively. And so if the sitting president and the sitting government wants to scrap off e-levy and they want to look at the taxing regime, it's important for the entire country. You recall that during the very heated campaign, the flag bearer of the NPP, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has stated his conversations of going to Estonia and how he wanted to give some tax amnesty and all of that. I feel that much as we didn't win the election, if the president, John Dramani Mahama, is minded to take some suggestions from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in terms of some of the suggestions of tax reforms. I mean, I think that is all well and good for the Ghanaian people, because we are one Ghana, obviously. And if the betting tax and the COVID-19 levy, he wants to scrap that, I think that it was all well and good. The main thing is that the Ghanaian people want to see some relief, because that's what he's promised. And we want to be able to see that as well.
We're going to be looking at some of the other things in terms of employment, but with what we're seeing from the transition team and some of the things that we're hearing, I mean, after all the meetings and all of that, do you think that it is now becoming more of, we didn't know what was in there before we made some of the promises, and so if we come back to turn around and say that this is what we have found, and so based on that, some of the social contract that we had with you would have to revisit them again and try and see how we can, work around it? Well, would that be a problem?
I think that would be extremely disingenuous for anyone to say that we didn't know what was there, and so the promises that we made for you, we cannot hold on to those promises. And the very good thing is that John Dramani Mahama has been president before. He's been vice president, and he's been president. He served at the highest office, and so clearly, being a former president and campaigning strongly on a comeback, and the Ghanaian people have given you that comeback and that reset agenda. I think that excuses is not something that the Ghanaian people will hold on to very clearly, and so
they will not understand that.
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't have a clear picture of how the economy was looking.
No, the economy.
The transition team.
Well, the economy is robust. The economy is stronger. We left a very strong economy. Very robust economy. Inflation had significantly reduced. We had stabilized the Ghanaian currency because of a number of things that we had put in place. And very clearly, yes, of course. I mean, there are some things that you will not have details in, especially in an opposition government. But you will see that being coming out very strongly when your transitional period is put in place. Yeah. But I mean, during the transitional period, everything is opened up for you to know in terms of the energy sector, the investments that has been made in, how we had been able to consistently keep the lights on, how we had to sacrifice to make sure that people go to school, how we had to sacrifice to make sure that we put together these infrastructural projects that we had done. So the transitional period gives you that space. And I think that John Dramani Mahama set up a very good transitional team. I mean, the team that he had in place were people of many years of experience and people that had held various offices in the past. And so that went very well in the transitional period. And our government transitioned everything, hands open, clear accountability, clear transparency to the government of the day. And well, I mean, once the transition was done, he set up his immediate office as well. So I think that it would be very, very disingenuous to relent on the promises that you made to the Ghanaian people. We all campaigned on promises. We have had hopes, and those were the hopes that pulled people to the various polling stations to exercise their democratic rights and franchise. And so you will not want to wake up a day after swearing in and start stating that there's not enough liquidity, there's not enough fuel to keep the lights on. I think that real leadership is about sacrifices. And we have had to sacrifice to keep these lights on over the past 8 years. And we would want that the government of the day, led by President John Dramani Mahama, would make a lot of sacrifices. And I know that he would make sacrifices. This is his legacy president for me. And I would want him to pick up four key pillars that Ghanaian people remember him for. One of them will be health, the health infrastructure that we have begun, which was the enormous, audacious, bold vision of Akufo-Addo led Baumia government, the Agenda 111. I mean, much as we haven't completed, there are various stages of completion. I'm sure that their transitional team has received all those.
Well, the former president has asked that the
absolutely
president now.
Absolutely. And I know. I mean, I'm sure that many people knowing President John Dramani Mahama would see to it that he would complete those projects because it's a legacy project for the entire country. And so health is key for me. Education, definitely, I'm sure that he would place a very key focus on that to be able to restructure all of what we had begun. We've brought in STEM education, we've brought in TVET, all those innovations. I'm sure that he would be able to continue that. And then for me, economy would be key. And then clearly seeing that Ghana had been very, very dependent on these importation of items, and then that really troubles us. And so we want to see that in terms of import and export. I mean, we have a lot more resources that we are exporting out of this country to be able to rake in the trade that we have. So these four key things are things that I think that if President John Dramani Mahama focuses on, it would give him a lot more legacy.
All right. Well, we're going to be looking at, I mean, and you touched on that briefly, the issue of energy sector, which is a very big problem right now because of what John Jinapor is saying in terms of the fuel that we don't have to keep the lights on. And in fact, he says that we can't even do that in the next couple of days. And he blames the former government for that. We're going to be looking at that. Herbert Crapper has also made some posts that I think that we can also use that as against what John Jinapor is saying. But Richard Manuribe has joined us this morning here on the show. Richard, a very good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, KMG, and good morning to you. Good morning to the people of Ghana, and good morning to my good brother in opposition. I think Dr. Pagri, I just want to say thank you to the Almighty God for how far He has brought us. And good morning to the good people from Kwanta South constituency and Oti region as a whole. I think that yesterday was a great day for starting a reset of the Republic of Ghana. And we have nothing to say sorry to any Ghanaian as we just take over power. We are very responsible for anything that happens because I know we inherited a very bad governance. We inherited a very frustrated account. We inherited a deeper wound of the economy. But I can assure you and assure the people of Ghana that President John Dramani Mahama is poised. We've promised them that right from Independence Square, we're going to kickstart to make this country great. And I can assure them that nobody should be panicked. It's a very deep hole economy we've inherited. But we'll seal it up and make Ghana great again.
All right. I'll try and take some messages, but let me take your thoughts on the speech itself. If you want to analyze it in a very short, how would you put that speech of the president yesterday?
Yes, so if you really listen to Mr. President yesterday, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, if you listen and followed him yesterday, he touches all sectors of economy. And I think that if you look at his demeanor, his posture, he was very ready to make sure he make this country works again. You check the speech, he talked about G7 nations, how the decline of their GDP and the economy. He also talked about our neighboring countries, how we can work together, because we should not always think that our neighboring countries are in crisis. There are always conflict and other things. We have most of our people all up there who are also, that's why he mentioned other tribes that are there. So we need to get together as people of this country and make sure that our borders is very tight, and we'll make sure that the economy runs. Mr. President also touches about the economy as a whole, as I think that because our major focus is going to be on the 24-hour economy that we promise Ghanaians. One of the major focus we're going to focus is also about the Women Development Bank. That will make sure we strengthen the microeconomy of the women development of this nation. Mr. President touches about all those things. Mr. President also touched about the youth unemployment, which is a critical issue that the people of Ghana voted for us. So Mr. President has that as attached to. That is why he touches on it. So in short, if you look at the speech for Mr. President yesterday, you can clearly see that there's hope of this country. And I believe that Ghanaians will be happy and get a smile as people.
All right, so John Jinapor has actually warned an impending Dumsor, and it says that we've got only 5 hours worth of fuel left. In disagreement to that, Herbert Crapper has also put, a statement together. He's a former Minister for Energy. He's put something together that I'm going to be reading for you. But I'll try and see if I've got some few messages that we can do. If my messages are ready, kindly let me have them, and then we can. Okay, all right. So we're going to get those messages when they're ready. But let's say a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Pafio. Whilst doing that, we'd like to check out what exactly John Jinapor said during an interview at the inauguration yesterday, and then we'll look at Herbert's comments as well.
Well done. I have bad news for you. Just today, the confirmation we are getting is that we have only 5 hours of fuel stock. If you look at heavy fuel oil and distillate fuel, we don't have up to 2 days. And so in 2 days' time, we are likely to run out of fuel. This administration has not ordered any fuel as we speak. And it takes on average 4 weeks for the fuel to arrive and 4 weeks for the fuel to be treated. And so we are in a very serious situation. At the transition, we brought this up. The outgoing administration assured us that they had procured some parcels of fuel. Today, right after President Mahama assumed office, and I served on the transition, my checks indicate that we do not have fuel that can cater for even 2 days. So clearly we have a major problem. And this is an incoming administration. Even if you order the fuel, like I'm telling you, it will take about 8 weeks. So we are in for real trouble. Well done. I have bad news for you. Just today, the confirmation we are getting is that we have only 5 hours of fuel stock. If you look at heavy fuel oil and distillate fuel, we don't have up to 2 days.
All right, so that was John Jinapor, who serves on the transition team, speaking on the issue of energy and what we're likely going to be experiencing in a couple of days. Now, in a sharp contrast to that, Herbert Crapper has posted this on his social media page, and I'm going to see if I can read that for you. And it says that keep the lights on as we did, you are in government. And it says, I've read a statement from Honorable John Jinapor MP, co-chairman of the transition team, subcommittee on energy and natural resources, in which he claims that massive load shedding looms as Ghana's fuel stock depletes, and seeks to blame His Excellency President Akufo-Addo and his government for it. Mr. Jinapor is wrong. Load shedding does not loom. It is caused either by technical or emergency power generation issues or a lack of competence in managing the power sector. Mr. Jinapor seems to be haunted clearly by the latter. By the time of leaving office, President Akufo-Addo's government left in stock light crude oil, which Send Power currently generates power with, whilst ASCA continues to take delivery of heavy fuel oil, which it generates power with. This fact is easily verifiable with a phone call to both power plants. The responsibility of the new administration is not to only procure more liquid fuel to keep the lights on when that liquid fuel becomes required to complement gas supply, but also plan competently to avert power supply disruptions. We did it, and they can do it too, if they can. The NDC government should get to work as we did. The reason we kept the lights on for 8 years, regardless of the difficult times, and stop the needless finger pointing. That is not the way we kept the lights on. Herbert Krapper, former Minister for Energy. Richard, have you chanced on this?
Yeah, this is a very, very terrible situation we are facing as a government that we've just resumed power. I think it's not even 8:30 for us to go to office. And you can see the situation in which we are. Even as yesterday, when I go home around 7 p.m., my light has been off up to now as I'm talking to you. Just as I've taken power, we are in trouble. So it's not a good news at all. Ghanaians must bear with us. Ghanaians must know that we are in a very, very, very serious challenge. We told Ghanaians that the major problem of the Dumsor that was looming, they said there was no Dumsor, but we told Ghanaians clearly that the problem was about getting finances to get the crude. They don't have crude. And the major problem is finance. And they said that was basically a lie. Mr. Jinapor clearly told you, he's co-chair in the transition of energy. And before you can get the heavy crude, it takes 2 weeks to come, 2 weeks to trade. So barely a month before you can have enough crude. The government has, when they lost power, all they were interested is about drawing the state accounts, making sure they pay contractors heavily and get the kickbacks, making sure that they have to just recruit their people quickly so that they will not be unemployed. Meanwhile, they said they've created a lot of jobs. So this is what we have come to make. And I think that as a government, we want to be very sincere to the people of this country that they should just bear with us. And this Dumsor that is coming, it's not our fault. This is the legacy of Nana Akufo-Addo. Before we left power, the Dumsor was a heavy problem, and that's why most of the Ghanaians voted against us. But I think that this clearly we will resolve the problem, and we have always tell Ghanaians
because Herbert said they went through the same situation. It was a
responsibility.
matter of sacrifice.
We will take responsibility. We are not saying we are not going to, but you see, the fact of it is a matter of sacrifice by buying the crude in stock, the heavy crude. But up to now, for 2 weeks, we've not purchased any crude. So that's the clear wickedness of the people, the past government. We've always told they don't have.
You think it was intentional?
No, it was quite intentional. And I mean,
what gains?
No, you know, President Mahama, before we left power, we put all the measures of Dumsor. And clearly, before Dumsor was one of the major campaign messages that were given to the people of Ghana that when you vote for President John Dramani Mahama, you vote for Dumsor. Dumsor will be back again. And so when they lost power, they've not taken any step to make sure they get crude. And clearly, that's why my brother Dr. Pagrave is sitting here telling you that we must take responsibility of it. We will not be an irresponsible government. We will take responsibility. That is why we are giving you that we have a bad news for the people of this country that this is what is happening in the energy sector. It is not only in the energy sector. In all sectors of economy, if you look at the books, the balances, the checks, it will really, really, really amaze you that this government has caused this mess down for the people of this country. But anyway, that's why we are putting all measures in place. The people of this country have confidence in us. The people of this country have hope in us. That is why about 77% of the total electorate has gone to the polls and selected President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC as a government. So we'll take responsibility of it, but it's not the good news that we are seeing. It's really what is happening in this country. I think that Ghanaians must just bear with us. Let us work together. Let's pray together as a people of this country. And that's what President Mahama in his speech said. In all that we are doing, all we need to know is that we are Ghanaians. Ghana is the priority. So, Mr. Pargrave, tell your people that what they have caused, they don't have Ghana at heart. But anyway, it's late. But the responsibility lies on us now to make sure we keep the lights on. But we need to be very sincere to the people of this country. We need to be very sincere to Ghana that this is the situation. But we will make sure we fix it as we did earlier on. We're going to fix every sector of the economy that has been loomed. And we'll make sure we take a critical look at it. We will audit every sector that are loopholes. Before we fill those loopholes, whoever is responsible must also be responsible for whatever his responsibility is. So it's not a good news at all, as I've kept on saying. But I believe that
you're still confident that
Ghanaians must bear with us and let us come together as a nation. As a country, we must come together, we must be very united. We must not listen to an irresponsible opposition. We must know where they've put us, they've left us and where we are going. So in any day, we'll make sure we'll brief the Ghanaians. We'll make sure they understand what is happening. We'll make sure that we get them to the clear knowledge of the state of the economy that this government has left us. And anyway, there will be a lot of prosecution. So in that process, I think Ghanaians must know and they applaud with the good work we are going to do.
Very well.
KMJ, you know, I feel very sorry, really, for the government of the day. They are beginning on a very wrong footing, extremely wrong footing. KMJ, there is reason and wisdom in why the framers of the Transitional Act put it together that after an election is held and there is a new government, either the old government is transitioning onto itself or the old government is transitioning onto another government with a different political orientation, that you have 4 weeks to be able to do that. There is reason why that act is put in place. To begin your government and the government of John Dramani Mahama a day after you have been sworn in, and to begin on the wrong footing of accusation. You know, KMJ, leadership really demands that political narratives are controlled. Leadership demands that if in my home bread is finished and my children are asking for bread and I know that bread is finished, the bakery has closed, I would find an alternative on making sure that my child would have something commensurate to bread if I don't have bread. Maybe I can give her biscuits or prepare pancake or something commensurate. I feel very, very, very sad that the government of the day, John Dramani Mahama government, will begin on a wrong footing of accusations. You had 4 weeks of transition to prepare you to take office from day one. And in preparing you to take office from day one, you are already saying that in the next 8 weeks, Ghanaians are going to have power outages because you did not buy fuel, because you did not prepare. KMJ, you see, I really, really wish John Dramani Mahama the best. I want him to succeed. I want him to have a good legacy because it benefits all Ghanaians. I want him to appoint and select people who would reflect what his desire is. And political narratives are key in this regard. KMJ, there is no way that the erstwhile Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government is plundering the government of John Dramani Mahama in a mess of Dumsor. There is no way.
So this act is not deliberate?
Not at all.
But is it something
not
that is
at all. No,
in the first place? Because John Jinapor is on the transition team.
KMJ,
this is where most of these things are emanating from.
Can you imagine that, just for a minute, can you imagine that the New Patriotic Party was continuing office? Can you imagine, just for a minute? Just imagine that. And can you imagine that in continuing of our office, we would have come back to the Ghanaian people and stated that after the president, if it was the second term of Akufo-Addo, after the president is sworn in, we are going to have intermittent power challenges? Can you imagine that?
But at that time,
is why
you know you're coming back into power, so you'll be able to purchase.
No, of course, that is why. That is why I'm telling you that the framers of the Transitional Act gives you 4 weeks, 4 solid weeks, where books are opened together. So in your 4-week preparation to take over, that's what I'm saying. Even if you are changing schools for your children, KMJ, you negotiate with your children and you let them know that you are going into a new school and this is what you have to do. That's why I put a scenario of bread there. If I don't have bread in my home at 10 p.m. and my daughter is crying for bread, I will look for biscuit for my daughter so she can stop crying. To begin your government on the wrong footing of accusation that the Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government did not leave you fuel, so you can't keep the lights on. KMJ, it's a statement that you should not even make for the public people to know. It derails the hope that they have put in you. That is what I'm saying.
You should have kept quiet and get the fuel.
And manage the situation. That's what leadership is about. That's what I'm saying. And I mean, you know, Richard is a very fine gentleman. This is his government. This is Richard's government. I would want him and the rest of his communicators and government to be extremely responsible and control a political narrative that inspires hope. But if you come and say that on day one, when the leadership has been given to you, that there is impending loom and Dumsor, what did you do in the 4 weeks of transition?
Maybe they are making Ghanaians aware, just so when it happens, Ghanaians will not start saying that it is when they came back that we have had this situation happen to us.
I can tell you of a truth, and I'm saying it on authority, that there is no way that we have kept the lights on consistently from 2017 till the last day. In fact, even the swearing in, till the last day of yesterday, the lights have been on consistently. It will be very disingenuous for anyone to state that they will not be able to keep the lights on and blame a government that has kept the lights on consistently for 8 years. And I would wish that they do the Ghanaian people a good service by ensuring that they let the Ghanaian people know that we are responsible today and we are responsible tomorrow, and we would make sure we keep the lights on, regardless of whatever challenges that we may have. Because KJ, if this was a continuation of a government led by Akufo-Addo or the New Patriotic Party, we will not say that in 8 weeks you are going to have Dumsor. Never at all. We will mass up, we will take the leadership to our hands, and we'll make sure we solve the issues. And there are no even issues. That is why you had
the
4 weeks.
Doesn't exist.
You had 4 weeks to prepare to come to office. We shared it together. It was a joint government for 4 weeks. A joint government for 4 weeks. So you cannot come a day that you have been sworn in when Ghanaians want to receive the hope, the overwhelming majority they have given to you, and begin to say that, then what kind of leadership are we to expect? And I don't want to think that the John Dramani Mahama-led government will be giving us excuses from day one. I would not want to. And my admonition really to the new government is that, look, you are in office today, bring out your bold solutions, bring out your bold leadership, and leave the accusations. Follow through. If there are terminal challenges, you can raise those terminal challenges. But if there are not terminal challenges, but they are challenges of leadership, let's address that. But today you are in government. It's the government of Richard and the government of the NDC. They cannot run away from anything and give excuses.
Okay, let me get some of the messages from our viewers as well. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise, still from Papa Pafie. They're the reason why we're having this conversation. We're grateful to them, and you've got all your gadgets there. So from television to phones to refrigerators to CCTV cameras, the best place you can get them is Franco Trading Enterprise. Now, this one over here says, good morning. To you all, I'm a big Tamale Central at last. JDM is back to reset our country again. Accountability, economic stabilization, employment for the youth, and corruption are key sectors that will build trust in Ghanaian people. We trust him. He will deliver his social contract he promised. The presidential inauguration was very superb. We're proud of him. Look, NPP government is capable of doing anything to destroy JDM as a deliberate attempt to bring a new regime down by now, nation first, because we're put there to serve the people, not your selfish interest. This one over here says, good morning, KMJ. We thank God for the return of JDM, and I'm sending this message to the NPP communicators who have started asking JDM to scrap the taxes, which they themselves knew was not good, and also asking him to increase cocoa price, which they could have done before leaving office, to stop that propaganda, because we won't allow them to put pressure on the president. JDM will fulfill his promises. Long live Ghana, long live John Dramani Mahama from Mowat inside Suchari Lembele. Let me go to another one over here. It says, good morning to you, KMJ. Dr. Pargrave and Mr. Richard, we won't take this from President Mahama administration. It's too early for lamentation. We want hope. Throughout that Mahama speech, I didn't see hope from him. Anyway, I wish President Mahama all the best in government. If he succeeds, all of us will rejoice. And if it fails, we will all suffer. Abdo Karim Zugulania from Kujaku says, my regards to MP Honorable Hassan Tampuli, MP for Kujaku constituency. All right, let me go to this one over here. It says, good morning. I am a native and resident northerner who hardly visits the south. I have family, schoolmates, and friends living in the south. The greeny platform of the inauguration ceremony of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama caught my eyes emotionally with a sober reflection of our once greeny vegetation and the past, especially our cocoa farms. So on this note, I passionately and humbly appeal to the president to make our mining areas and the rest of Ghana look like the same greeny platform he has been sworn in for. Ghanaians, northerners and southerners are found in Ghana. We are one. That's Simon sending that over. Quite profound this morning, Simon. This one says, good morning, KMJ. Please, Pargrave, what are you saying? Look, we Ghanaian knew the problems that NPP left to NDC government, but His Excellency JDM will do his best for we Ghanaians. Daniel from Ho sent in that. This one says, good morning, Mr. Host. Please ask Pargrave, what about the NDC projects they left? Kubila inside Tamale sent in that one. All right, let me go up and see what we have over here. This one says that, good morning, Happy New Year, KMJ. We thank God for a successful inauguration yesterday. JDM is a man of his words, and he will surely deliver as he promised us. Ex-President Inauguration promised not to hand over power to anybody apart from Dr. Baumia. Was he deceiving himself or Ghanaians? Using taxpayers' money to carry his chair along was an insult to the citizens. We thank God for saving us from these corrupt and insensitive leaders. Let's build the Ghana we want. My regards to Honorable Charles Akwasi Asiedu, MP for Tano South constituency, and that's from Mensa Majid. All right, so let me see what we have. Let me go to this one over here. It says that, good morning, please tell the NDC to do the do, because in 2017, the MPP did the magic with over 5 billion owing in the power sector. All right, so that's your message as well. Let me go to this one over here, a few of them. Okay. Good morning, dear host. I wish President John Mahama welcome, and he should deliver his promises and monitor his appointees in any role they will play in his government. He should not repeat his mistakes again. Ghanaians voted for him because he said he wants to do best than the former president. And for some of us know him very well, and I repeat, we have given him a mandate again to do his best for his country. We don't want to hear any... Who's disturbing me over there? We don't want to hear... Okay, let me go to this one. Okay, we don't want to hear any complaint of our past leaders. One Ghana, one people, one Africa. That's GMA who sent in that. Okay, so this one Over here says, good morning, Joy Prime. My appeal to President Mahama is to immediately see how he could convert the so-called cathedral hall into something else that can generate back the money wasted there by the Akufo-Addo administration. I propose a special city swimming pool or a tilapia pond. Ghana will surely work again. Stephen Opoku, Saki Michelle Camp. Ghana tilapia pond. Good morning, KMJ. This message goes to IGP. Please inform IGP that police MTTD in Bono region have come back to the road collecting 5 Ghana cedis from the drivers. He should sack them again from the road. Okay. Another one over here says, good morning, I am Eben from Kwabenya. Thanks to all Ghanaians for the support given to President Mahama and the NDC. Ghanaians will never be regretted for the change they have voted for. And I believe President JDM will deliver in his reset agenda for NDC to stay in power for a long time. Regards to Dr. Tony Albin, the mining expert, and the Louisa Kwache, the first female communicator. Okay. Over here says KMJ, Baumia is a humble northern man. It is Akufo-Addo who made him arrogant towards Mahama. We wish him well. Okay. Very well. Some of the messages that you've sent to us this morning, you're on the show. Martin, I'm not reading your messages. Leave me alone. Anyway. Richard.
I am surprised the way that Tapagrave is sitting here thinking that a government who has not even gone to office this morning, as it was inaugurated yesterday, being honest to ordinary Ghanaian, being very honest to Ghanaian people that have given hope to this party, that will sit and tell us that we as a government have just started on the wrong note by accusing the past government.
But Richard,
the fact of the matter,
was it even necessary for John to have said that?
Very necessary.
At an inauguration?
Very, very necessary. Very necessary, KMG. The people of this country has confidence in President John Dramani Mahama. Because President John Dramani Mahama is an historic president. And that the people are hoping, look, this country that we are today, if you tell Ghanaians the truth, they'll be very satisfied. But when they know the truth, Ghanaians are not gullible. As they think before, a typical Ghanaian is not gullible. So when you tell them the real truth of the state of the economy, an ordinary Ghanaian will bear with you. Because they've gone through hell and they don't want to continue in that hell. President Mahama's agenda is to reset this country and build it up. In resetting of a country, you need to be very honest to the people that you're resetting with. Because if you look at the massive Ghanaians that went to the polls and vote for us, we must not sit down and lie into our pocket. And that is what you did and you failed. You knew very well that for some time now, you've not imported heavy crude to power the plants for power generation. And you know the situation. Before even we went to the polls, we told you clearly that this was the situation. We told you clearly that you were not buying crude. And because you don't have money, you overspent. You said, no, it's a lie. God willing and Ghanaians being so good, believing in President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC, and will give us power. And we are telling you, this is the situation in which we come to meet. And you can clearly see that. Now the communicators of the party, in fact, people with PhDs, who not an ordinary person, lecturers of this country, come to sit on a pulpit on a television station and think that a government who is less than 24 hours old, that we should take responsibility and we should stop complaining. We should go and fix it. The responsibility that we are going to take, we must let Ghanaians know the situation before we take the responsibility. Then we know that for all this long, you've been calling Ghanaians. You have always been playing games with ordinary person. And look at what is happening. Just as we left Independence Square, lights are off. What a sabotage. And you know and you critically plan against it. But hey, we can assure you, whatever sabotage you plant, we will deliver for this country. We will make sure that all the promises, the hope the Ghanaians have in us, we will deliver. We will make sure that this country worked. And Pagrave, let me be honest with you. The NDC is never ready. President John Dramani Mahama, the Ghanaian people have hope. President Mahama, the Ghanaian people think that this is the father that we've gotten. That like the Messiah has just arrived. We will never and ever under our watch, lie to ordinary Ghanaian like you do. You people, in government, there were so many things that were not going on well. Even in the security sector, who you speak for. When we tell Ghanaians, you say, no, that's not a fact. But look at the situation in which we are. The country, the state is sink. The economy is broken. We are down in the deep hole of this economy. And I think it's not fair. I think it's not good that we tell Ghanaians that Nana Akufo-Addo and his appointees, Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the MPP has corrupted the nation, has run the nation economy into they have crippled the nation economy. And you think that all the corrupt deals, the dealings, they don't care, but making Ghanaians go through an ordeal. In the process, some died. In the process, some were murdered. In the process, some couldn't have daily bread. In the process, some held a brown envelope for 8 good years.
KMJ, I wouldn't have wished to.
Just for job.
But you see, really.
Just for job creation.
KMJ.
And you know this situation
I wouldn't have wished.
Wait, hold on.
No, I wouldn't have wished.
I kept quiet.
No, but I wouldn't have wished.
Be fair to me. You know you're my very good friend.
I know, but...
No, so let me...
No, hold on.
No, let me... No, I'm the host.
I'm not. But KMJ.
No, I mean...
KMJ, you see, let's be very honest to the viewing public, okay? KMJ, when you say that we have not given fuel, the whole month of December, I don't know anybody in this country, and I mean last year, 2024 December.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in this country that can say that there were no lights. The lights have been on considerably. KMJ, you would attest to it. I saw all the events that...
This is interjection.
Hold on.
What is this interjection? So let me make my explanation.
Richard,
no, but that's not fair. I thought I said something that was against him. Not knowing that you're going to take over. No, I mean, that's not fair.
Let's be fair to the Ghanaian people. Did you read the statement from the former Minister of Energy?
Yeah.
Herbert Crapper. You read the statement very well. And I will just take the paragraph. And this is what he says. He says,
no, I'll come to you.
By the time...
You will still address it.
By the time we, the Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government, were leaving office, we left a stock of light crude oil with same power that currently generates power with, now, as we speak. And whilst ASCA, which is AKSA, continues to take delivery of heavy fuel oil, which it generates power with. So how can you sit here?
But
no, KMJ, KMJ, hold on. Let's be very real. Look, we have kept the lights on. The whole of December, there was no light off. The whole of December.
So the question I want to ask is...
The question really...
So the question I want to ask is...
Why would
Jinapor lie about it? That's the question I want to ask.
The question really
why would he lie about that?
No, you see, the question really is... Why is the new government of the day, the John Dramani Mahama-led government of the day, trying to renege on their responsibility of the promises that they have made to the Ghanaian people? Why would any government like our erstwhile government keep the lights on considerably for 8 years? Why would we give enough fuel to send power to be able to keep the lights on today? Why will AXA continue to receive more heavy fuel? And why would the government of today begin to blame our government for making sure that we have given fuel to AXA and giving fuel to send power to keep the lights on? Why would they start this narrative? That's a great concern. KMJ, we don't want the lights to go off. We don't want industries to shut down. We don't want schools to be closed. We don't want a collapse of the private sector. We have kept the lights on considerably. So why do you start this narrative?
Okay, Rich.
And why would you even say, KMJ, that we took the Ghanaian people through hell? What examples do you have? KMJ, we went into an election. The Ghanaian people had their choice and made their choice. We, as a new patriotic party, are not so much pleased with the turnout of the elections. But we are okay with the fact that the Ghanaian people have elected John Dramani Mahama to give him an opportunity to correct the wrongs that he had in the past. We wish him the best.
Okay. All right, Richard.
I clearly now understand where if you go out there and then you talk to Ghanaians and you are talking, they hear the name, they're not done Akufo-Addo and the NPP, they get angry with you. Because this clear hypocrisy shows clearly that the NPP deliberately want to run this government down. Shows clearly that the NPP have a tactical plan that from day one, they will put this government accountable and make sure
they said otherwise. They said that they're not going to be an obstructive.
That is what they are doing. You sit here and ask why would the same power continue to take delivery of heavy oil? And we are telling you that for some time now, you've not ordered for the heavy fuel. If you don't order for your house, will somebody receive it? We are telling you that the power, the crude we have now, in the next 5 hours, we will not have it again. And that's the NPP for you. And we are telling you that for some time now, you've not been careful. Since you know you are going to lose power, you thought you would be able to maneuver your way to win and be able to correct these wrongs. And you are telling that's the way you manage it. We should continue. We should manage it. We have never told Ghanaians that we are not going to get solution to this. We are telling Ghanaians what you did and what is going on. That is why, you see, you caused all these things and you say that the other government are very wicked. Because if you put your people there to sabotage and cripple the government must quickly take all those people that are responsible out. You know that for some time now, you've never ordered for any heavy crude oil.
You see, your argument is flawed because the lights are on. KMJ, do you understand what I'm saying?
Hold on.
The argument is
KMJ, from the report that we're getting
I am saying that. Saying that Richard's argument is flawed because the lights are on.
And we are telling you the prospect of the look. Listen,
we have kept the lights on.
I mean, who is a kid?
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody, Ghanaians are not. That's, you see,
there was a transitional period of 4 weeks.
But the thing we didn't tell Ghanaians.
Hold on.
As to the time.
But this I'll come to you.
As to the time, remember.
This issue just came up
yesterday. And to the time, as to the time.
Did we know this in the last 2 weeks?
I am telling you,
3 weeks?
After the time, John Jinapor, or the Honorable, came out with this statement, President Mahama was not the president. You are aware. President Mahama, he was yet to be sworn in. He was not he's just the co-chair on energy and natural resources on the transition. So the transition chairman came to tell Ghanaians that this is the problem. This is what they found during the transition. So why do you put the blame on the NDC? We are just a new government, a fresh government, a tier-rubber government that have not even stepped our foot. We're not going to office from here. We're not going to office after 8:30. And so we told Ghanaians this is the situation before we start our official duty. And that is the need, the deep hole the MPP has left us. It's not that we are in the office and we start in the office and we are telling you, get that right. And clearly, you're a very intelligent person. You said during the transition that all these issues should come up. And I'm telling you, it's during the transition that the issue came up. And the chairman of the transition team on energy told us that this is what is happening. Why did NDC go to office? It wasn't yesterday that NDC was sworn in as an official government. And so we told Ghanaians before we were sworn in. So what are you talking about? So we take Ghanaians very serious. Don't play that games with Ghanaians. And the Ghanaians are going to bear with us. They are going to cooperate with us to make sure we govern. The distractions and the hell they went through is a thing of the past. So the MPP and the communicators, please stay put. We told Ghanaians what is happening in the energy sector. In all sectors, we'll let every Ghanaian know before we kickstart. Okay. We are resetting together and we'll build together. That is why we and every ordinary person, we work together as a government. So bear with us, Ghanaians, and we'll continue being honest with you. We'll continue telling you the truth. Whatever happened in the past government and the present government, we'll make sure that everybody is informed so that we can govern and make this country very peaceful.
Let me give my concluding remarks.
Okay? Because we have to go. We have to go.
Just my concluding remarks. I wish John Dramani Mahama the best in his governance. I do not want the Ghanaian people to wake up in the next few hours and state that they made a bad decision, bringing John Dramani Mahama back to office. I wish him the best. We, the New Patriotic Party, wish him the best. We want him to excel. We want him to excel, and we want him to excel. But we don't want him to state that the Eswal Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government plundered this country because all of what we have sought to do over the 8 years that we have an opportunity is to put this country on the right path. That is what we have done.
Okay, all right.
Is it-
And to put on record
when I came,
that we have succeeded
when I
in
got to the
making
studio,
sure
when I got
that
to the
this
studio,
has been done.
he clearly, when I got to this, he clearly mentioned the sectors in which his 18th President John Dramani Mahama to look up to. I didn't want to comment on that because we have remained focused. We know all the sectors, the mess, of course, we've remained focused.
So
and we will never
be bringing all of that
we
up.
will never disappoint Ghanaians. And I know and believe Ghanaians will smile and they say, this is the Ghana we want, not the Ghana that has led. Why? Didn't Ghanaians know what they went through? A common meal they didn't get. Dumsor was tactically planned for 8 years, and everything was in it. Listen, the young boys and girls were looking for jobs just to get jobs and make their father and their mother proud. They didn't get. Are we not in this country? And you think we shouldn't tell Ghanaians why they suffered that way? Ghanaians voted for us because they don't know why they were suffering.
Okay.
So we will make sure they know why they are suffering, and we will make their lives better. So President Mahama will never disappoint anybody. So your propaganda will not work. Ghanaians will bear with us, and we will build this country.
Very well. This one says, yesterday I heard President Mahama in his first speech complaining about COVID-19 and its effects. He shouldn't even start it. Who told you Ghanaians need the truth? If you fail to deliver thinking that it would allow you to complain, no waste. The clock is ticking. 119 days more for the first set of promises. We are watching closely, and that's Master Planner John Jinapor who sent in that one. All right. So many thanks to you for sending your messages to us this morning here on the show. Thanks to Richard Manuribe for coming.
I haven't seen you this year.
Where are you heading towards after here? The Flagstaff.
I haven't seen you this year.
Oh, Happy New Year, my brother.
Thank you.
And,
Doc, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You say where am I heading towards after here?
The Jubilee House after you.
Oh, I'll pass by.
Okay.
Very well.
Very necessary.
Yes.
Dr. Pagri, thanks for coming.
Brother, thank you so much.
This morning you're on the show. Really appreciate that. And we say we thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise still for us, Papa Pafie, for having this conversation possible. And of course, you can go there and grab your gadgets. It's very, very important that you monitor your homes even when you're not around your offices and all that. CCTV cameras that you can monitor anywhere at any time. And also those who want refrigerators, you can also come to us as well. If you need a phone, is the best place that you have to go. Please call us on the numbers that you see on your screens and not any number on social media. Google Play Store, you can download our app over there and it will be good. Our website is www.francotrading.com, and you can also get our branches and every other details that you need. You can get it once you have your way on our website, all right? So thanks to Franco Trading Enterprise.